first demo we will go into is our Minerva Deliverable Matrix and Tagbook. The reason why we developed this is that we saw a need in many industries to have documentation packages that needs to be delivered as part of a project, but it needs to be created and managed in a structured way. For medical device, we have technical file, design history file, device master record, and so on. An example from automotive could be the PPAP. In aerospace, you have technical and maintenance data package that needs to be delivered to as part of the projects. So creating these document packages needs to be under configuration control also, and so does the actual development process. This means that we need to have a way of having actual configuration management to our projects, meaning that we need to be able to version them and create real baselines where we create versions of the project and all the related data. That means all the documentation that is related to each deliverable in the project and so on, so that we can go back and we can have a full history thread with all relevant data. We call this deliverable-driven project execution because for us, what is important is the actual data that we create. And it's the data that we create that drives the update of the project status. We want to focus on the data. The solution has been developed together with several of our customers, and we have implemented it several different places. Carestream was instrumental in the development process for this solution, and we also have it at Draeger, Teledyne Dolsa, Valtronic, and many more. The demo we will go into today is that I will log in the system as a project manager. I will then go to get an overview of my current projects to see the status of them. Are there anything I need to put my focus on? I will dive into one project to investigate the status of that one. We will look then at the documentation structures, and in this case it will be a DHF because it will be a medical device project. And we will update one of the deliverables in the project to see what effect that has. In this demo, I am a project manager arriving back from vacation. I've been away for a while, so the first thing I want to do is figure out the status of the projects that I am working on. I start by going to the dashboard that I have inside of the system, and here I can get an overview of how the status is for all the projects I'm working on. I can see that 3 of my projects are no problem, they are green, so that's good. But I also have one project that is off track. So what I want to do now is to dive into this to figure out what is actually the problem. So I click in order to figure out exactly which project it is. I can see that it is the 3D printed prosthesis project. So I open this project to dive into the details around this. When the project loads, I will be able to see the deliverable matrix for this project. The deliverable matrix is a list of every single deliverable that I need to deliver in this project. I can see the status of each and single one of them. So I can see that all of them are closed, and I can see the date that they were actually completed. But I can also see that my customer requirements document is 2 days late. So this is the deliverable that is causing my project to be red. I can see that the closing rule is by deliverable release. We use closing rules to tell the system what is it that actually closes this deliverable. That can be many different trigger points, but the idea is that it's the deliverable and the status of the deliverable that actually drives the update of the status to my project. One of the things that we do with our project management solution is that we can organize our deliverables in what we call managed deliverable structures. Since this is an example of a medical device project, we have created a DHF deliverable structure and a DMR deliverable structure, where we can group all the deliverables in a file folder-esque structure. If this was any other industry, we could have any other structure. For instance, if it was automotive, we could have a PPAP. But what is interesting is, of course, to take a look at this deliverable that I have. What would be the impact of this deliverable in this managed deliverable structure? in this case, the DHF. So I can open the DHF. I have these structures readily available directly in the project, and I can search for this customer requirements deliverable to see where it actually appears inside of this DHF structure. I can see that it appears 3 times, so I know that it is a quite important document for this structure. Now that I know this, and I know which deliverable we are actually looking at, I want to dig a little bit deeper into what is that we are waiting for with this specific document. So I go and I click the document to open it. I can see that the document is here. I can see that we have the Word file, we have a PDF file, and I can also see that there is a change pending on this document. So what I do now is I want to go in and see what is the status of this change. So I go to the Changes tab, and I can see that there is a DCO related to this document. I open the DCO, and here I can go to the Sign Off tab to see where are we actually in the workflow process. So I can see that Terry has created it. He sent it to Diane, who has done the actual work, and right now it's sitting in review, waiting to be signed off by me. And I've been on vacation, of course, so I haven't been able to do it. But before I sign off on anything, I of course want to check how is this document. So I go to the viewer, where I can see the viewable file, the PDF, directly inside of the system, and I can check that the content is okay. And to me, it looks very good. I don't think I've ever seen a requirements document this good. So for this, I'm happy. So I go back to the change, and I actually sign off on this change order. So I say fast approve, and I can make a comment. This looks good. And I sign off with my password. We could also have set it up with e-signature to be 21 CFR Part 11 compliant, but I'm just using the password authentication here. So I click complete. When I click complete, it will close the change. That will release the document. When the document releases, that will also update my project and close the deliverable line. So if I go back to my project and refresh my Deliverable Matrix, I will see that all the lines for this phase is now closed. Also, my customer requirements document has been closed, and that means that my project is no longer off track. And I can also see that the document now has the status of released. So if I go back to my dashboard and refresh that, that will also update and show me that I now have no projects that are off track. Everything is green.